Hi, we are doing series of video lectures on digital communication. Today we're going to discuss about modified DO binary pulses. Last time we have seen DO binary pulses. We need to find out what is the problem with DO binary pulses. So we have seen in the last video that a DO binary pulses magnitude spectrum consists of DC component. That means at frequency 0 there was certain magnitude that was available. Actually we do not want that kind of performance. What we want is a 0 DC component. That's why we need to change, or we need to switch to modified DO binary pulse. So a modified DO binary pulse is basically instead of taking 1 bit duration delay, if we take 2 bit duration delay, we'll convert DO binary pulse into modified DO binary pulse. Also there are some noticeable things to consider. For example, if we look at the DO binary system, we have seen that earlier we have taken TB as bit duration, but in modified DO binary pulse we're going to take twice of TB as bit duration. Also the DO binary signal this time is not the direct addition of AK and AK minus 1. Instead it is the subtraction of AK and AK minus 2. It is a subtraction. Here I have put the subtraction symbol so you can see to it. So CK is going to be AK minus AK minus 2. Instead of taking bit duration TB as a delay, we have doubled it and taken twice TB as delay. Okay, let us see here the arrangement. So as you can see here, AK is PAM times of BK. From the figure it is clearly, so AK is PAM times of BK. If BK is bit 1, AK is going to be plus 1 volt. If BK is bit 0, AK is going to be minus 1 volt. So it is mentioned here, you can see whatever I have told just now. CK is AK minus AK minus 2. Okay, it has to be minus. There's a typo error, please correct it. It has to be minus. You can see here AK minus AK minus 2. Alright, so I have written here next step, it is a minus. So AK corresponds to the pulse PAT and AK minus 2 corresponds to the pulse PAT minus 2B, and CK corresponds to the pulse PT. Now if you take the Fourier transform, PT becomes PF and PAF plus PAF e raised to minus J2 pi f 2TB. You see there's a shift in time. In frequency domain, the same shifted signal is represented as the frequency domain signal multiplied with a negative exponential, but with the same shift. Okay, now you can take PAF common. Since PAT was a sinc function, PAF is going to be rectangular function. So here I have mentioned that PAF is a rectangular function having amplitude TB between minus RB by 2 to plus RB by 2. So in place of PAF here, I'm going to put the same. As you can see here, in place of PAF we have put TB, and we have limited the signal from minus RB by 2 to plus RB by 2. So this is the spectrum. The time domain DO binary, modified DO binary, is given by this. The frequency domain, that is the spectrum, is given by this orange color thing. Okay, now we can modify this by taking e raised to minus j2j pi ftb common. So it will be an arrangement to get a sine wave, right? Because e raised to theta minus e raised to minus j theta gives you sine theta. So we're going to get a sine theta. So twice of twice. Now once we have the spectrum Fourier transform, we can have the magnitude as well as phase spectrum. So magnitude is going to be TB 2 sine 2 pi ftb. The magnitude of this exponential is going to be 1. Okay, so this is the magnitude between this interval. Also, what is the phase? Phase is given by the power of exponentials. Okay, so e raised to minus j theta. So theta is going to be minus 2 pi ftb. So minus 2 pi ftb. We're going to put multiple values of frequency. Suppose if I put f is equal to 0 here in the magnitude spectrum, if I put f is equal to 0, complete thing will become 0, and that's what we wanted. No DC component. At f is equal to 0, there should be 0 response, 0 magnitude spectrum. Okay, at minus RB by 2 and plus RB by 2, if you put, again you're gonna get 0. See, f is equal to RB by 2. RB is 1 by TB, so TB will cancel and 2 will cancel. So you'll get sine pi. Sine pi value is 0. Alright. Similarly for phase spectrum, if you put RB by 2, you'll get pi minus pi. If you put minus RB by 2, you'll get plus pi. So we can have phase spectrum as well. So if you put RB by 2 minus pi, minus RB by 2 plus pi. Alright. So equation number 5, if we see here, Okay, this was the frequency domain description. If we just do the inverse Fourier transform, we're gonna get the time domain description. Okay, so I'll take equation number 5 and do the inverse Fourier transform. This is the formula of inverse Fourier transform. Okay, so PT will become PF. See here, in place of PF we have written HF by mistake. It has come HF. This is typing error. Put PF, this also PF, this also PF. Okay, like this. Alright, so PF will become PT. Okay, now this you can see, as you can see here, it is kind of rectangular pulse, so you're gonna get sinc function. One sinc function RBT, another sinc function RBT minus TB. Okay, because there is shift of 2 TB, so RBT minus 2 TB. You can do it. What you can do it, you can multiply this impulse with this TB as the amplitude. Okay, if you multiply this exponential function with TB as amplitude, and here also you multiply, and then you take the integration one by one, you'll end up getting sinc function. I have directly done it. Okay, so sinc RBT is this pulse which is going like this. Okay, this is called sinc RBT pulse. Okay, and minus means it sinc will invert, so sinc is inverting and it looks like this. Okay, so you can see there's a difference of TB and 2 TB. So overall difference between two waves is TB. So this is modified DO binary pulse. The advantage is you don't have any DC component here. Also in modified DO binary pulse also you can have this problem of propagation of error. So you can use precoder in modified DO binary pulse as well. Like in DO binary pulse you can use precoder, as well as in modified DO binary also you can use precoder. Alright. The next topic that we will be doing is called I pattern. Okay, as I told you, just before this complete DO binary system, modified DO binary system, if you do not want error to propagate, one bit error should not propagate to multiple bit error. To avoid that, we have used precoder. This discussion we have done in the last video. You can see in more detail in the last video. Okay, so if you put a precoder here, you will not get error. Error will not be propagating to multiple bits. So if one bit error, only that will be observed in that particular bit in the received signal. It will not propagate to multiple signals. We're gonna do a lot of examples on that in some other video. The next topic we have I pattern. I pattern is basically a visual treatment, right? Without doing any mathematical calculation in oscilloscope, if you observe the received signal, we know that when you transmit a signal, signal will undergo a lot of distortion because of ISI as well as noise in the channel. However, in this particular module, we are not considering noise. All we are focused on ISI, inter-symbol interference. But I'm representing here a signal which is distorted. This is a received signal. Suppose this is a kind of received signal. As you are seeing, this is kind of received signal which is a distorted signal because of ISI, and also it is coupled with noise, so it is not looking like a perfect, this is not in a perfect shape. Okay, so what we do, the I pattern is basically a visual idea to see whether your transmission was perfect or not. Okay, so how it has been done, suppose these are fixed interval, let us say TB, 2 TB, 3 TB, 4 TB, 5 TB. Like every TB interval you have sent this information. Okay, and this is the received signal which is kind of distorted and disaligned. So you will take each of these duration and superimpose them one by one over a single period. That means you take the segment of this waveform and overlap with each of it in a single bit duration. That will look like an eye. So it looks like an eye pattern. Okay, if the eye is in open position, that means eye is wide open, that means there was very low distortion. But if eye is closed, okay, that means a lot of distortion is there, transmission is not proper. What I want to say is, suppose if I take one here and this one here like this and this, you can see everything is confined to a single duration TB. I'm just superimposing all these segments. So now you see it is looking like an eye. Okay, human eye. Okay, if this opening is more, if I, if the eye is wide open, then so okay, so wide open eye means low ISI, low distortion. Okay, that means shapes are more in, suppose this is the overall bit duration TB, and this is that zero crossing. So this is how eye pattern look like. So in directly without doing any mathematical calculation, you can see the things in oscilloscope, and you can just make a rough statement saying whether the transmission was proper or not. Okay, let us see in more detail eye pattern. So suppose you have this information 0 11 0 11 00 10. Okay, and I'm taking bit duration TB like this. This is the bit duration TB. Okay, I think it is not properly visible, but okay. So this is the time duration. What I will do is I will take each of these duration. Let me take some other color. Okay, each of the bit duration and superimpose like this. Then I'll take from here, superimpose like this. Then I'll take from here, superimpose like this. Take from here, superimpose like this. Take from here, like that. You keep on doing over an interval of TB. Okay, so all the waveforms superimposed and over an interval of TB. So overall thing looks like an eye, human eye. It corresponds to a human eye. Okay, let me erase everything. So you can see, as you can see here, yeah. So wider the opening, lower is the ISI. That is the most important point you need to remember. I can do the generic presentation for this. I mean, so that you will have better understanding of it. Meanwhile, you can just go with the definition. Eye pattern, also referred as eye diagram sometimes. It is synchronized superimposition, okay, as many as possible, of successive symbol interval of the distorted waveform. So you take one symbol interval and just keep on superimposing. You will get some pattern which will be close to human eyes, look alike of human eye, not exactly look alike. I mean, somewhat we can say the pattern looks like a human eye. Okay, the interior of it is like a human eye opening. Okay, why it is widely used? Because it is very simple way to just come to a conclusion whether transmitter was better or not. So there are two ways to describe eye pattern. One is called timing. Okay, so one is based on timing. Okay, this is a generic diagram you can see. So this gives you a better idea what is what. Okay, this is the time here when you have most wide gap between the upper segments and lower segment. So this is the best time for sampling, because at sampling instant there should be zero ISI, and most wide eye pattern means zero ISI. So we should make sure that when we take decision, a decision device will make decision either in favor of bit 1 and 0. That time should be the time suitable for batch sampling, and it is where you have wide opening of the eye also. Okay, and then this is the zero crossing. Say if this is the upper part, okay, and this is the lower part. Okay, so this the middle part is called zero opening. Here every time signal will be crossing, you can say they are crossing here. So always there is a zero crossing zeta. This is ambiguity. Okay, now this slope is important. The steeper the slope is, okay, more wide is the signal. Okay, and the more lower is the slope, the eye opening will be more low and the ISI will be more. So you can quantify the opening of eye with the help of slope. Okay, this is the distortion. Okay, actual it should be like this, but another on the top of it, this is called distortion. Okay, anyways, so there are three parameters based on timing feature. The first parameter you can see is optimum sampling rate. The first thing that you will find out, optimum sampling rate at which the eye opening is widest. Wherever you have eye opening widest, that particular instant is known as sampling time instant or optimum sampling time. Then you have zero cross jitter. Okay, so as I said, there will be irregularities, they will be crossing each other. So zero crossing, which in turn gives rise to jitter and therefore non-optimum. So these are the times here you should not do sampling. Okay. Then timing sensitivity, which is given by this slope, okay, at which the eye pattern is closed. Okay. So closing, if it is more steep, then closing is not that frequent. If it is not steep, it's very low slope, then closing is quite frequent. Okay. Another way is to find out peak in terms of peak. For example, if the same eye pattern I look like this, there is a peak duration. You can see here. This is the eye opening. The zero line has been taken as eye opening. This is the ideal interval. Above that and below that, you can see here. This thing is decided. These are called peaks. From here to here, if you can see more closely. From this point to this point, it is called peak, since it is 2 times or double of peak duration. How we give peak duration? So first thing we have seen timing. So based on timing, best time for sampling, zero timing, and then slope sensitivity. Now here we have to take care in terms of peak. So an eye opening of unity corresponds to 0 ISI. That means if eye is fully wide open, then no ISI, 0 ISI. Okay. And if eye opening is equal to 0, then completely closed eye pattern. The sentence is not complete. See, either it can have value of 1, maximum value can be 1. Eye opening is given by this formula. See, an eye opening of 0 corresponds to a completely closed eye pattern. This is the formula of eye peak or relationship. Eye peak is equal to 1 minus d peak. What is the d peak? D peak denotes new criterion called the peak distortion. Okay, you can see it here, peak distortion. There isn't some ideal value above and below whatever is happening, that is termed as peak distortion. Okay, so this is all about eye pattern. You can see there are two parts. One is called timing, and second one is called peak distortion. Based on these two parameters, you can define. There are 2-3 diagrams, generic diagrams. Okay, first diagram shows that you do superimpose many patterns, okay, over one time period, and that pattern looks like an eye pattern. Okay, opening of eye will determine the value of ISI. The wider the opening, the lower is ISI. The maximum value can be 1, the minimum value can be 0 or -1 as well sometimes. Okay, so the most decent value of eye pattern or eye opening here is equal to 0.5. 0.5 is the decent value. If you have 0.5, then it is considered as a reliable communication or transmission. Alright, the next topic that we have is equalization. Okay, so we're going to discuss about equalization in the next video, but here just we have a brief introduction of what is equalization. As you can see, the pulse train is distorted by the transmission. Distorted means because of the ISI it gets distorted by the transmission medium. What is the transmitted medium? It is channel, so band limited channel. This distortion is compensated by a device in the receiver known as equalizer. So what happens? You know that why ISI is happening. It is happening because of neighboring pulses will start interacting with each other, and then they create interference. Why it happens? Because we don't send all the frequencies. Let me tell you again the cause of ISI. Okay, so we want to transmit this kind of, let me draw it properly. Okay, this is the pulse we want to transmit always, minus TB by 2 to TB by 2. Okay, for simplicity, let us keep this as 1. Okay, so we transmit signal in frequency domain. This looks like this. We have seen that our filters channel is a band pass filter. So these important, sometimes these have important, if not very significant, some information. So we'll be losing some frequency component. We only take care of this frequency component, while other critical frequencies we are losing in the channel because of the band limited property of the channel. So at the receiver we have a device which try to regain these frequency components. Okay, and this device is known as equalizer, and the process is known as equalization. So that's what is written here. When we do that, during the transmission, okay, whenever we do the transmission, Okay, our transmitted pulse is distorted because of the presence of ISI, and ISI occurs because of the band limited nature of the channel. Okay, to compensate this distortion at the receiver, we have a device which is called equalizer. Okay, process known as equalization. Now, channel distortion is in the form of dispersion. So, as I told you, distortion that they have mentioned, it is nothing but ISI. So, it is form of distortion which is caused by the attenuation of subtle critical frequency component. Just now I have shown you that all frequencies you are not sending, a part of which is suppressed. So you are losing some critical frequency component. At the receiver, we try to give back those frequency component by using some certain kind of amplifier. Okay. Theoretically, an equalizer must have frequency characteristic that this is important point. An equalizer must have frequency characteristics inverse of the channel characteristics. Okay, this is really important. So whatever we are losing things in channel, so we should have a device which is opposite of the channel. So whatever we have lost, we should regain it. Okay, so that's what is written here in this point. Whatever we lose, whatever critical frequency we lose will be restored in the channel, in the receiver, using the device called equalizer, and it helps in eliminating the distortion. But there is a catch. Whenever you try to restore those frequency component, along with the frequency component, you are also restoring the noise. So while under the process, you restore the signal, whatever you have lost, you will be restoring the noise as well, or sometimes you'll amplify the noise as well along with the signal. So that is a drawback of equalizer. So when you want to boost the lost components, along with that you will be boosting the noise, which is undesirable phenomenon. Okay, this is sometimes known as noise amplification in equalizer.